to go and give depositions. So how much of a heads up she had is going to be very significant in this. I think the parties that need to be the most concerned are the other attorneys that were working at Tom's firm. I think they are going to be more highly responsible than Erika will be, unless there is a text message, an email, or something somewhere that shows that she knew exactly what Tom was doing. And we haven't seen that yet. We've seen her benefiting from it, but we haven't yet seen the thing that says, ah, there it is. She absolutely knew that he was stealing from his clients.
Right. And I guess if you're served with certain lawsuits, that could be evidence of, well, I mean, what did you think these were for? I mean, that's
exactly. And I imagine, I mean, can't you see Tom Girardi going, this is part of being in law? Like, you just get sued all the time. You don't, by the way. That's not the way that should happen. But I can see him just being like, no, this is just part of it. These are just people who want their money. And we saw her say that on the show. Like, oh, we don't even know if these people didn't get their money. Like, there doesn't seem to be a lot of empathy there. I'm not surprised, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of empathy there.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, I guess her stance is like, right, I guess it's two different things, but her stance is like, I'm innocent, so why should I care? I mean, well, as a human being, you should, but I didn't do this. This isn't my problem. Like, she shouldn't care any more than you or I should care about the Tom Girardi. I mean, that's kind of her stance, I suppose.
It seems to be. And I think, you know, whenever you get lawsuits like this, I think the piling on, Erika's like, oh, fine, name me in another lawsuit. And there's going to be some of that. And we're seeing some of that. Oh, fine, name me in another lawsuit. This isn't going to go anywhere. But really, the more people that just name her, even if they don't think she's super connected, is just spending her money on legal fees that should otherwise or could otherwise be going back to the other debts she is going to face, some of them coming out of the personal bankruptcy. So the piling on, I think, allows her to feel like none of this is legitimate, because there's a few that maybe are a little bit of a reach, but it doesn't mean that Tom's clients didn't get paid. There's what, $100 million in the law firm bankruptcy. A lot of that is clients that didn't get paid.
And how much of this is Ronald Richards? Like, she taunts him. Like, I mean, is this, I mean, you know, he says, look, I'm not, it's not about my fame. I have no vendetta. You know, I just, the victims. I mean, where do we feel? How do we feel about that? I know last time you were here, I asked you something and you didn't want to say much against him or get into a legal, I mean, Twitter war with him, but
He definitely has a lot to say on social media about things. I still don't know. What I'd love to hear him say is exactly what happened with him no longer being the special litigator on the bankruptcy. He seemed very deeply involved in going after Erika. I think that when you're litigating a case, personal attacks on social media aren't necessary. They aren't needed. It's not my style. I'm not here to tell anybody how to do their thing. It's just not what you expect to see from the person engaged in the litigation. I think it crosses some lines for me. And you saw Erika absolutely rise to the bait. It seems that there are times where she's like, look, I will blast you on social first and think later. We saw that with her doxing one of Tom's ex, you know, lovers or what have you, with putting out this person's phone number who's now a federal judge. So we've definitely seen her make some quick decisions that maybe have not been the best. And there's a lot of kind of fanning the flames on that because she does react. And with this latest lawsuit with the Nick Cage's ex, which I think is only put into that lawsuit to garner headlines because it's really completely irrelevant to whether the plaintiff in this suit was in a car accident not paid by the Girardi Keese firm. How is Erika related to that? I don't know. I read through the lawsuit and I'm like, the lawyers should have paid this plaintiff. She worked with Girardi Keese. She should have been paid. Is that on Erika to pay out Tom Girardi's clients? No, it's not.
no. And I mean, is she, so, I mean, is she worsening her case by, you know, this social media taunting? Right. She also told his wife, you know, you're no better than me. You know, Ronald is the new Tom, and just wait, honey. And I know things, and go get on all fours for your husband. Or, you know, she like, is she kind of poking the bear, or it doesn't even matter? Like, you know, like if you want this, you don't really want a lawyer. I mean, you and I are lawyers, Emily. I mean, does someone really
Don't
want,
rile the lawyers.
right? Like,
Lawyers
I mean,
petty AF.
right. Like a lawyer has resources and I mean, piss the wrong lawyer off and they're going to come. I mean, should she just let it be? Or, hey, I mean, he's coming after her. Why not speak out?
It seemed that he was the one who started poking the bear on that from everything I've seen on social media. But I also think that Erika's calculation on that is different. She is on a reality show. The things that go on social media and people wanting to watch it play out is part of her employment at this point. So again, while personal attacks on social media are not anything that I condone or think are okay, I can also understand Erika being like, I need to defend myself. This person is coming for not just like this was done, but coming for my character, my looks. Like the some of the personal attacks are fairly low. So I can understand from Erika's perspective why she's popping back off. Does it hurt her case? No. Is that stuff going to come into a court of law? No. Can it rile up the lawyer who's already seemed like locked in on looking at you? Yes, but that already seems to be the case. I don't think anything's going to shift the mark of Ron Richards' focus on Erika as being, enemy number one, to borrow from Harry Potter, or undesirable number one. And that seems to be his sole focus. He says he's trying to buy their house. I don't know how much truth there is to any of it. I guess we'll see if it happens.
Yes, he is trying to be their house and buy their house, and she's called him a fan because of that. And it's just,
I think the two of them probably enjoy the social media back and forth, and people are here for watching it. That is not my preferred type of social media back and forth, but both of them rise to the occasion and push each other's buttons on social.
They do. Well, as you said, like there doesn't seem to be a lot of remorse. I mean, even further than that, the whole earrings, the $1.4 million earrings, she had to turn them over. Now she's appealed this. She doesn't seem to be, going away. I mean, it's not.
Oh, she's not going to roll over for sure. I don't know. It's hard because you look at it two sides. Like the human part of Emily is like, girl, just sell whatever, give it to whoever, and just be done with it. Like, you benefited from the things your husband was doing, whether you knew or not. You benefited at point blank, period. But the lawyer side of me is looking at this going, you don't know how much the IRS is going to come for. You don't know how much the franchise tax board is ultimately going to come for. You need to circle the wagons, maintain whatever assets you can, because you are going to be left with a crater of debt and you have to protect yourself first. And I'm sure that's what her lawyers are telling her, is that you need to take care of you first, because no one's coming to bail you out. So I can understand the lawyers fighting it out, but the earrings are just, look, we've seen the check. It's in the legal filings. The check was written directly out of a client trust. It's appalling. So I'm not surprised that the judge said, yeah, that's directly traceable. Give it back. Will there be other things that are that directly traceable? Maybe not that many. But if she's looking at millions and millions in debt, wouldn't she rather